Greetings, welcome to Math 15 Online. This is the orientation video, or how do I get an A in this class? So in the live one, there was a roll call, and we used the chat window in Confer, but we're not using Confer or Zoom, so we don't need to do that. So let's get right into it. Readiness. So online math courses can be difficult to succeed in. The skills you develop for succeeding in a face-to-face math class do not necessarily transfer over to the online world. We've got the 10,000 hours of sitting in a room, raising our hand, asking questions, talking to the people next to us when we're stuck, and those sorts of things. And a lot of those skills that we've got dialed don't necessarily transfer directly over into an online math class. So to help out with how do we succeed in an online course, the state of California has developed 6 interactive video tutorials, and I would like you to watch them. I've got links for those in the preliminaries module 0, and it'll take you roughly 2 hours to get through them, but it's really worth it. It's definitely, particularly if this is your first online math class or online course ever. Now, 2 of those videos in particular that are really important are how to schedule your time, in other words, how to do time management, and the second one is how to take care of the technology necessary to succeed in an online class. And so make sure you pay special attention to those 2. I want to tell you that my experience has been throughout teaching online classes is that the 2 things that cause people not to succeed most often are either procrastination, bad time management, or their computer just doesn't work correctly, or they don't have the proper technology to succeed in the course. But of those 2, the one that is you have the most control over is going to be your time management. So let's pretend this was a face-to-face math class, and this was the first day of class. And you come in, and I'm going to give you an entire week's worth of homework, like 5 assignments, and I want you to do all of those assignments tonight and have those ready to be turned in tomorrow. You're not going to be too happy with me now, are you? Well, that's what students do that to themselves. They wait until Sunday when the assignment is due, and they get up Sunday morning and say, oh, maybe I'll start working my homework now. And by noon, they maybe get going on it. And all of a sudden, it's 10 o'clock at night, and they're only halfway through it, and they're wondering why they're having such a hard time with it. It's because you tried cramming an entire week's worth of work into one day. You're not going to get that much out of it. It's just going to be a hell ride. You're not going to like it. So don't do that to yourself. Spread the work out. Get your schedule, your calendar out, and make sure you schedule in at least 3 days out of the week to be working on this class, okay? All right, so materials. Let's start off with the basic material, which is the textbook. The textbook is an open source book, and the e-copy is free. I have links to the book in Canvas for you. You can get it also, a paper version of it from Amazon for about $20, and I've got the link to that in the orientation module also. It takes about 3 to 5 days to get here, so if you're going to go with the paper edition and you haven't got that yet, you're going to probably want to use the e-copy until it arrives. Yeah, that's all for the moment. That's all we'll talk about the book. Okay, so a quick quote here that I want to interject before we get any further into materials. And that statistics is a science, not a branch of mathematics, but uses mathematical models as essential tools. That's from a famous statistician named John Tukey. And what he's trying to point out here is that unlike your typical mathematics class, where you come in, you listen to the lecture, you go home, you get the homework assignment out, you work some of the problems, and then all of a sudden you go, oh, I can't do this problem. Then and only then do you go in and start trying to read the book. That doesn't work in a stats class. Just as if you're taking chemistry or physics or biology, reading the book is an essential part of the class. You have to do that. So that's going to be the same thing in this class. You have to read the book, okay? So since that is the case, I can't overemphasize to you how important it is to read this book. So probably maybe I should take you for a little tour of the book. In other words, let's go talk about the book and how we go about using that, okay? So this is the textbook here. Let me scroll back up to the start of it. So if you go up to the beginning of the book, this is the e-copy of the book. One of the nice things about it is you come in, it's got hot links to the sections of the book. I can come in and click right here, case 1.1, and it'll drop me down right into the book. Now, one of the cool things about this book is it also has hot links to videos. Whenever you see one of these little video cameras, if you click on that, it's going to drop you out and it's going to give you a short video.
This video accompanies open interest
that goes with the particular section that you're about to start reading, okay? So I found that some students like to watch those videos before they they do the section and kind of get an overview of what the section is about. Others like to read the section and come back and then watch it afterwards. Totally up to you. I'll let you do whatever you prefer. But either way, you need to read the book. That's super important. So we're reading the book. As you're reading the book, you're going to come across these things called guided practices. There's also examples, just like in a traditional textbook, but hit these things called guided practices. And when you hit one of those, you need to stop, because now what they're saying is you've read enough material. We want to see if you understand what we were just talking about. So they're going to give you a problem to work. All these open circle problems, okay? So it's time to get out paper and pencil and actually get after it. This book is supposed to be done interactively. So you work that problem, and then when you want to see the answer to it, all of the guided practice problems have their answers provided in the footnote. So if you click on the 2, it'll drop you right down to it, and it'll give you the solution to it. Now I'm going to reward you for doing those guided practices by using those same questions in the reading quiz. When you finish the reading part of your assignment, the next thing that you're going to be asked to do in Canvas is you're going to be asked to go in and take a reading quiz. And those reading quiz problems come pretty much verbatim from the guided practices. Now, another really cool aspect of this textbook is that it has not just answers, but solutions to the odd problems. So what I mean by that is that every one of the odd problems doesn't have just a number with no explanation where that number came from. It shows you how to work them. It gives you explanation or a solution to them. So that's a really nice tool. Use it judiciously. Make sure you give every problem an honest go before you actually start trying to go and look it up in the solutions. But nonetheless, it's kind of nice. You got full solutions there. Okay, so let's go back to our orientation work here. So reference book. Well, one of the things that you're going to find is that this is probably not your last statistics course. Is that many of us, you're being a psych major, a biology major, a social major, any sort of the sciences, you're going to do an additional quantitative methods course or a methods course in your particular discipline. So this course is prerequisite to that, and it would be nice that you came out of here with something that you could actually use in that next class. So, i.e. the reference book. You're going to find it incredibly useful in this class also, because it's going to help you get through the assessments. So in the reference book, you're going to write definitions, examples, instructions of things you learn in the class, and all of the above, okay? There's instructions in the orientation module about how to build this book so that it's going to be most useful for you. I would definitely follow those. If you've never built one of these before, you'll find that outline of how to build one is going to be really helpful for you. You can use the reference book on all the quizzes, the midterm, and the final. Now, since this is an online class, we ought to be able to use more modern note-taking tools besides a black-covered comp book. So if you would like to use OneNote or Evernote or one of the other note-taking tools out there, that's fine. I'm totally game with letting you use those to build your reference book. That's really kind of a more modern take on it, but it's a great way of doing it. Now, at the beginning of every lesson, in the beginning of lesson 1, etc. on, you're going to find a list of items that should be included in your reference book. And so when we go and visit Canvas, I'll show you that, what goes in there. All right, so the other material that you need besides the textbook is you need a calculator. You're going to need, in this class, a TI-84 graphing calculator. There are emulators for both iOS and Android phones that you can use. I'll give you links to those in Canvas and how to get to those. I would say if you don't own a TI-84, don't buy one. If you really want a physical calculator, if you want the actual calculator, you can go to the Eureka campus and you can rent one for $15. But they cost like $100. I wouldn't buy one unless you really know that you want one of those calculators. If you want one that you can buy it for your phone. That's what I would do. Don't try and use a TI-83. I mean, you can get by with the TI-83. You're just going to find it frustrating because it's got some functionality missing in it for statistics. They updated the 84s with some things that you're not going to find on the TI-83. So I would strongly suggest that if you're going to, if you have a TI-83, just put it in a drawer and use your phone. Use the emulator for your iPhone or for your Android, okay? All right, what about getting help in this class? So there are several options for getting help in this class. First one is the Math Lab. If you happen to be going down to the Eureka campus on a regular basis, or the Del Norte campus, you can enroll in Math Lab Math 252 for free. It's a free class. I'm not sure about whether Del Norte is offering Math Lab this summer or not. If you're up there, you'll need to check in on that. I will also do the same. But I do know for sure it's being held on the Eureka campus. Don't know the hours yet, but there's a link in the orientation module to the Eureka Math Lab page where you can find that out. So that's really cool because you go in, you have computers there, you can be working your homework assignment, you raise your hand, say, hey, I can't do this one. A tutor will come over and help you right there on the spot. So that's pretty nice, and it's free. So another option is you sit down and you're starting to do your homework at 8:30 and 9 o'clock at night, and you got nobody to help you, and you're stuck on problem one. You can go over into the toolbar in Canvas and click on NetTutor. NetTutor is a 24/7 tutoring service available through that link in Canvas. I've got nothing but positive feedback from my students about it. So take advantage of that. That's a really awesome tool. So if you're stuck and it's late at night and you got nobody to talk to, NetTutor is there for you. The other place is you can post questions on the Q&A forum. So the Q&A forum is linked through every module. You'll find a link to it. It's a great place to ask questions. If you know the answer to a question that you see posted there, I'll reward you minimally a point for answering the question correctly. So you do get extra credit points for working problems out of the Q&A forum. And if you've got a question, do your friends a proper and post the question there so that they can get some of those extra credit points. Now, another place to get help is the online office hours. So those are typically going to be Sunday nights at 8 p.m. So if that works for you, great. We use the Confer Zoom tool to do that. If that doesn't work, let me know. I can set additional office hours if that time doesn't work for you. In fact, let me know that via that 5-point poll that I've asked you to do in the orientation module as an online office hour poll. Okay, so let me know if you have any other times that would work out better for you. So if you're DSPS, EOPS, Trio, all those different things, I have links to those student services in Canvas. Take advantage of those. Those there for you. Make sure that those work for you. Okay. All right. Let's highlight a couple of the course policies here real quick. So in the orientation module, there is a lot of information. In particular, there's a lot of information about course policies. You do need to read that. That's an important little ditty there. All that stuff is also in the syllabus, which means that it is a binding contract between you and I, right? There are two of those policies I want to highlight here. It's by no means all of them, but there are two important ones. One is the drop policy, and the other one is the proctored final. So drop policy. So if you were in a face-to-face class and you just stopped showing up and you quit turning in homework and you did not contact your faculty member, there's a pretty high probability that they will drop you from the class. Well, the same thing in an online class. This is not a self-paced course. You have a schedule and you've got to stick to it. If you all of a sudden quit participating in discussions, don't be turning in homework, I have a tool called Canvas Analytics. I can see whether you've been logging in or not. I'm going to reach out to you and I'm going to say, hey, are you still interested in staying in this course? What's going on? What can I help you do to get on course or get back into it? You need to respond to that if you want to stay. If I don't hear back from you within 24 hours, I'm going to assume that you don't want to stay in the class anymore and I will drop you. So make sure you stay up. If you need additional time on stuff because something happens in your life, let me know. I'm very good about granting permission for extensions. I'm not very good at forgiveness. If you know up front something's coming up that you're going to need extended time for, let me know in advance. Now, I know life happens, and I know things sometimes get in the way of our success, and you can't, please let me know, and we can see what we can do about, those things that happen in life, after the fact, like a car crash or some loved one, getting ill or things like that. We can make things work. All right. So I'm not an ogre, but I am pretty hardcore about, ask me up front, don't ask me afterwards. Okay. So proctored final. So you take a final at CR testing site or with an approved proctor. CR testing site is required that you make an appointment before you go there. If you're going to use a CR testing site, you're going to need to let me know in advance that you're using the testing site so I can shut Proctorio off for you so you can do it at a testing site. Proctorio is our online proctoring system. It works really well. It's nice. You get to take the final in the comfort of your own home on your own computer. It does require, though, that you have the Canvas browser installed and a web camera because it does video you while you are taking the final. Now, some people are a little uncomfortable about that, about being recorded. If that's the case, then you can use one of the testing centers, okay? If it's inconvenient for you to use a testing center and you don't want to use Proctorio, let me know and we can work something else out, all right? Proctorio works really well though. It's pretty simple. Most students like it because it's pretty bulletproof. I mean, it's super easy. Excuse me. So we do have a midterm quiz also, but that is not a proctored event. The only one that's going to be proctored is the final. All right, so once you've read all those course policies, you need to take the course policy quiz. Now, if I was taking the course policy quiz, I would have course policies open in one tab and the quiz open in another tab, just saying, make your life, work smart, not hard, right? Okay, online homework. So one of the beautiful things about this book is it also came with a complete set of homework built into the My Open Math system, which is really nice. What that means is the actual homework problems from the textbook are built into My Open Math. It works really well. There are about 75% of the questions are going to be machine graded, which means they're either multiple choice or you got to put a number in. And about 25% of them or so, you have to actually fill in a blank, and I got to come in and manually grade that. So when you finish your homework assignment, it's only going to do the machine grading, and so you won't have full credit until after I get in there and do the manual hand reading and grading stuff, okay? So that's an important consideration when you're doing it. It's the tool, My Open Math is compatible in mobile devices, but you'll have to use the Canvas app to get access to them. My experience has been that you shouldn't try and do this course through a mobile device, through a phone or such. I would say you're going to be much better served by using Canvas in a Mac or a PC through the Chrome browser. So, occasionally you're going to go in and check grades, do things like that. Yep, go use your phone. You can do that. But don't try and do this class from your phone. That's just not going to work for you, I promise you. All right, let's go talk. So I talk so much about Canvas. Let's go for a little tour of Canvas. Let's get out of here and go take a look at our class. Let's go see what it looks like. Okay, so when you come into Canvas, the first thing you're going to want to do is drop into the home page. So let's go ahead and put this in student view so you can see what it looks like for you. Always come in through the home page. Really good idea. Why? Well, because over here on the left-hand side of it, you're going to see everything that is due that week. It's what do you got? What are you up against? Okay, so these are all the things you got to get after and get done. All right. Other thing that's very nice is that it's got a course calendar, so you can click on that. It'll give you the calendar with all the assignments. Paste it on the page where they're due. Okay, so those are two really nice reasons to come in here. Also, you get the week's announcement up here in the top of the header. That's a rotating banner up there, so to speak, that every week's announcement always gets posted there. And then there are links here to the modules, syllabus, etc. So in the first week, there's a start here. If you click on that, it'll take you into where you're supposed to begin in the course. That's going to go away after the first week. But there's also a link to the Q&A form here too, okay? So let's start off with the start here. Let's click on that. So we click on the start here, and it drops us into the orientation module. So if I go into orientation and I click on the first thing, 0.0, I see an introduction, a brief introduction to who I am. Those readiness videos I was talking to you about earlier, here's the link to find those readiness videos. Navigation, you should know how to navigate in Canvas. This is going to help you do that, okay? It's going to talk to you about notifications. How do you want to get things sent to email? How do you want to find out things? Good idea to go in here and set the settings how you want them, okay? Every module has a set of objectives and to-do lists in it. That's a little less relevant than the orientation module. We'll go down and look at module 1. That's going to be much more relevant. Then there's a link here to netiquette. Netiquette's a really important concept. It's how do we interact with each other in the online world. It's you don't have visual cues, you don't have facial expressions, etc., to help you understand what's going on with the other person. So we want to be able to answer and ask questions of each other without fearing ridicule or being scorned for what our posts are. So I'm going to ask you to adhere to the rules of netiquette. There's a link to the netiquette rules here. Take a look at this. I definitely go through these lists of 10 items and make sure that they make sense to you, okay? If you have trouble with another person in your group not adhering to those, please let me know and we will talk about that. Either I'll shuffle the groups or talk to the person about what's going on, because many times it's not intentional. It's just they're coming off differently than they intended. Okay, so introductions. Lots of people have gotten after that already. Please get that done before Wednesday night. That would be huge. There's those policies I was telling you about. Here's the drops policies, late work policy, participation policy, proctoring. Everything you need to know about proctoring is in here. All those sorts of things. So you guys know how to do that. Get after that. Let's go ahead and switch over to module 1 because I want to talk about working a content module, okay? By the way, the orientation module is the only one that I've done this to. You have to work them in order. You notice like I can't do the math lab thing because I haven't done the office hour poll yet. So these won't open up until I finish them. So this module, you have to work through everything in order in the orientation one, okay? All right, so this is a more typical weekly module. This has got content page, module 1. I click on that. There's an intro, which is very similar to the announcement for that week. It tells you, what are we going to do? What is this week all about? So definitely read that. It's like a quick overview of what we're going to be doing. The objectives. The objectives are what am I supposed to be able to do when I get done this week? So these items in here are in many ways writing prompts for your reference book. Everything in here should show up in some shape or form in your reference book. Now I would suggest perhaps maybe copying them down and putting them in there, but copying them down as writing prompts, not as, wow, I copied these and I pasted in there, my reference book is ready to go. No, that doesn't work. You need to come in and say, okay, define a summary statistic as a number summarizing data from a sample. What the heck does that mean? So give an example of what that is right underneath it, or write something that helps you make sense of what that was all about. So that when you go back and you look at this, 3 weeks, 3 years from now, you can still have something that's going to make sense to you. Okay, next tab is reading. This is where the rubber hits the road. This is your reading assignment for this week. So that says you're supposed to read section 1.1 through 1.5, which is pages 1 through 26. That's probably one of the lighter reading assignments we're going to have over this summer. 8 weeks is fast. You're going to get a lot of the material quickly. This is technical reading. Give yourself time to read it and digest it. Make sure you work those guided examples. Those are another great thing to put into your reference book, okay? Now, those videos that I mentioned earlier when we looked at the textbook, I've got them also all listed here, so you can get to them in one convenient location. Like all of a sudden you want to watch the video again for section 1.5. You don't have to go thumbing through the book looking for it. I got it right here for you, okay? All right. In subsequent sections, you're going to have additional videos down below here. These are just the textbook ones. Below here, there'll be other referenced videos. Some of those are going to be ones showing you how to use your TI-84 to work problems. Those are going to be really useful for you. Others may be links to Khan Academy because there may be a good example there, or other videos that I've done, or videos that I found that I think are really helpful to help you understand the concepts for that week. So make sure you watch all of the videos. That's really important. They're part of the content page. You can think about this as like going to lectures, what's going to the content page. Okay, the next thing after you get done with the content page, only in Module 1, there's a quick does it work. This is for MOM, MyOpen Math. In the MyOpen Math system, it doesn't love Safari so much, or Safari doesn't love it, I should say. So I would suggest that if you're using Safari in a Mac, that you switch over and put Chrome in there instead, okay? Let me know if you have any trouble getting this to work. I'm going to give you 1 point just to see if it worked on your computer, okay? All right, so usually when you finish with the content page, the next thing you're going to come across is a reading quiz. So in this case, it's the reading quiz from Module 1. You get to take this twice. That's it, so make sure you come in prepared. Make sure you've done the reading before you do it. They're usually anywhere from 10 to 20 points depending upon the amount of reading. And you only, like I said, you only get to take them twice. So don't come in here and just think you can hunt and peck and figure out the answers that way. It's a really bad way of doing this, okay? But remember, you're going to be prepped for it anyway because you've worked all those guided practice problems, and that's where these problems come from. Okay, so week 1 homework. So this is the MOM homework assignment. By the way, to get some extra real estate here, if you click over here in the menu tab, it'll collapse it for you. So the problems and the homework, generally they'll be between 10 to 20 problems in a homework assignment, and notice the point value is fairly high in those. Some of the problems will be just conceptual ones. Did you do the reading? Did it make sense to you? But most of the problems will come straight from the book. So notice this is problem 1.1 from the textbook. So the only difference between this and doing it in the book is that they're giving you the text boxes to put your answers in right here, okay? Now, one of the cool things is that we have solutions to all the odd number problems. I have a link right here. If you click on that, it'll give you just the pages with the end of the chapter exercises or solutions to the exercises, that appendix. I would suggest saving that someplace to your desktop or somewhere where you've got it. I think I linked it in the first couple homework assignments, and after that I figured you've downloaded it, so you've got it at your fingertips, okay? All right, once you've worked all of the homework problems and got those all complete and feeling warm and fuzzy about it, I've posted the Q&A forum. The Q&A forum is like, hey, I couldn't do problem 1.6, help, what do I do? So you post it there. I usually get back to those within 24 hours, but you notice lots of other folks have got in there also, okay? So get in there and post questions if you got them, all right? Then it's time to review. I give you a little pause in the game here saying, look, make sure you're ready to go because you're about to take the module quiz. So module 1 quiz. Usually most of the quizzes are going to be from between 20 and 30 to maybe up to 40 points. They're one and done. They come from the homework and from the reading. So if you've done the homework problems and you've done the reading, you should have no trouble with the quizzes. So those are usually pretty straightforward, but make sure you come in prepared. You are allowed to use your reference book and your calculator on the quizzes. So module 1 checklist. So that every one of the modules ends with a quick checklist. Did you do everything you were supposed to do in there? You should read that, make sure you got it all dialed. And then there is what's referred to as the muddiest point. Then what the muddiest point is, this is different than the Q&A forum. What the muddiest point is not like, oh, I can't do problem 1.6. I can't do problem 1.6. That belongs in the Q&A forum. If you come in and go, you know, I finished this whole module and I still have no freaking idea what the standard deviation means, that's where this belongs. You come in and post it here under muddiest point. I try to get to these again at the end of the week. So usually like the Monday after the module is closed is when I come in and start commenting on them. But if you can help your peers out, again, I will reward you extra credit for that. Up to 10 points if you've done a really good job. So make sure when you come in and read these and help each other out, okay? So they're not required. Muddiest points aren't required. If you do post in here and it's actually a substantive post, I'll give you a point for just posting, okay? So these are like free points almost. So you definitely want to take advantage of those, all right? Okay. I got some feedback last time I taught this class that I should put the objectives also at the end. So I did that. I put them also at, these are the same things that showed up in the beginning, at the beginning of the module. The objectives, same ones here. Just put them at the tail end of it so that you got them in both places, okay? Some folks liked them better there, all right? Okay, so starting in, like I said, in module 2, I got to get out of the student view here. Starting module 2, the rubber hits the road. It gets a little more difficult in module 2, okay? We're going to have a lot more material going on in module 2, but it also starts off with what we call discussion questions. So we will be doing a weekly question where you work together in groups. You're going to have peers of starting with 7. Those will probably maybe winnow down to about 5, but you'll have a group that you're going to be working with for the entire semester. And generally going to ask you to work together on a particular problem. Those problems will range from something from the textbook that I'm going to ask you to delve in much deeper to analyzing articles from the mass media. So typically I'll find things in the BBC. The mass media articles, I try to find things that may be of adult nature. So if for whatever reason, if you find those difficult to deal with and you don't want to do that, then please feel free to talk to me and we can maybe come up with something alternate if you're having an issue with the topic. But I'm assuming we're all adults here and we can deal with things that are maybe of a controversial manner, okay? And remember the tenets and etiquette when we get in there and start talking about those things, okay? Now, I want you to work in groups because unlike in a face-to-face class, you can't just turn next to the person next to you and go, hey, Joe, how do you do problem 1.6? That doesn't work. You don't have anybody next to you. In fact, it can be hard to get a sense of community in an online class. But I think it can be done. In fact, I'm confident it can be done. So to help to facilitate that, I'm going to use the groups tool in Canvas. And what that means is there are going to be 7 of you stuck in the same group for the entire semester. And you want to get to know those people just as you get to know the people that are sitting around you in a face-to-face class. So the facilitating that to start off with is the student introductions. So take those seriously. and give substantive feedback about the people's posts in there. Do their concerns and things that they liked, are they similar to what you had? Take a look and see if you can figure out what their lie was and their two truths and a lie. In other words, give each other some positive feedback and talk to each other and try to get to learn to know each other, all right? All right, online office hours. So one of the best ways to get help in this class is by attending the online office hours. We're going to use the Confer Zoom to facilitate that work. So you can post questions in the Q&A forum if you can't make it live during office hours, and I will go ahead and do them live when I get in the office hours. So those are going to be Sunday nights at 8 o'clock. Like I said, get in the office hour poll if you would like to have office hours besides that. All right, so if you have any questions, I know there's a lot of stuff that I went through real fast in this video. Don't be shy about shooting me off a message and letting me know, and I will do my best to answer your questions. Okay, so if you were not able to attend the session live, then you've got to take a quiz now in order to be able to get your 5 points and stay in the class, okay? So to do that, what you need to do is tell me, according to this video, what is a statistic? According to this video, how important is it to read the textbook? Which exam is proctored, the midterm or the final? What is the name of the homework system that we're using? So put those all into a message, send those off to me, and remind me to post your points. Remember, this quiz will be due Wednesday by 11:59. I'm going to get up Thursday morning, and I'm going to drop you if I don't see you in there, okay? So actually, yeah, that's when it's going to be due, Wednesday by 11:59. I'll be sending that out here in just a few minutes. Okay, hopefully that was good. Let me know again if you have any questions.